Dile que tú eres mía, mía, tú sabes que eres mía, mía.
What a good y'all support in the vacuum and in the road. We is home, just got home from a walk. Today's actually Wednesday. It's actually afternoon, I believe. You know, it's interesting because last Saturday, this past Saturday, I tested Donnie, the guy from the fish shop, and I was testing him because, you know, just to ask him if he tested the lady for the two sisters to work with him. But he did not respond. So I said, okay, no problem. Fast forward to today, this morning, he texted me, and he goes, and then he followed that with, and then I text back an hour later saying, you know, it's definitely, you know, I definitely I lost my dad about like 16 years ago, and, you know, just with the, you know, losing a family member, that's just, you know, it's not easy. So Johnny, if you actually watching this, my condolences. If anything, if you need anything, you know, want to talk, or whatever the case may be, you can text me, and we go from there. You know, it's crazy because this morning before you tested, and I was on the phone hotline, and you could only ask for what is hotline. Well, not the radio Hot 97, of course, because why would they do that? But I was on the phone with hotline more like for emergency, because just been feeling like so, I was on the phone with them for a while. But I got some good news. I went to ShopRite the other day. And yesterday, before I went to bed, they called me, and they was like, they'll call me in a couple of days. You know, for now, we just wait. And I'm starting to really think they just ignoring me for in purpose. But that's fine, because it is what it is. Can't really force anybody to do anything. But yeah, you know, some people, especially when, you know, somebody going through something, you gotta, you know, keep reaching out. But if they're good or not. Because it ain't easy. There's one thing I saw recently where somebody was like, somebody was, you know, trying to reach out to somebody else, and the person was busy. And then the person responded back, and then somebody who reached out first, you know, passed away. I was like, nah, that is just crazy. Crazy, dog. And then it's just also, it's just remind me of Kobe Bryant to clear their son. Kobe Bryant had called to clear their son, and the boy was asleep. By the time he was ready to, you know, call him back, Kobe had died. Like, bro, how bad that is. Like, people calling you, and then by the time you get back, they're gone. That's deep, bro. That's deep. Like wishing a breakup. Nothing. There's another thing I was. There was this lady. She texted her ex. No, exorcist had texted her, and she was like, "Okay, I'm at my wedding. If you really want to stop it coming." And the wedding went on. He did not show up. A couple years later, she passing by a cemetery, and she sees his name, and she sees what was the reason how he died. And what happened was, just the day that, you know, she texted him to go, he was going. And on his way, he's speeding fast on a bike and crashed into the second passway. I'm pretty sure she felt bad. I'm pretty sure she was like, dang, that's crazy. She probably felt bad both times. Second time probably was. Also, the hobo, talk about that about his I think his friend. Yeah, deep. Another guy also went through it. My auntie went through it too with her son. But the other guy went through it with his brother, his brother passed away from cancer.
Was it any like when your brother passed, was any malicious stuff that happened? Like was it any?
No, so this is the part that feels the most cruel about it. He had cancer, and at the time that he was diagnosed, they were like, this is like a terminal cancer, 5 to 7 years, right? The night before he passed away, we were texting and calling, and everything was great. The day he passed away, we were talking, we were texting, we were talking about sports. And then my sister-in-law called and was like, your brother had a seizure. And I'm like, what? I still had my phone in my hand. I was like, I'm just talking to him.
And my auntie and her son, the more they talk. That is just deep, but would teach you like you were alive when you're dead, and then teach you like you were dead when you're alive. That makes sense. Like that's just tough. Please like, comment, subscribe, 55. Please stop getting.
Dile que tú eres mía.